What's up, guys? So welcome to Chasing Pelagics. I'm Jeff, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, July 25th. Quick look at our 10-day weather pattern here. It's like Groundhog Day every day. We got fog in the morning or thick overcast skies, and then it's been burning off around 9, 10 o'clock here. A little bit of moisture in the air as well, so things have been a little bit wet, a little bit unusual for this time of year. Usually as we head into early August here, things are pretty dry and hot, but we've had a little bit of wind happening here, and although the last day or two has been all right, there's been a high pressure system that's pushing through, and then a low pressure system that's going to slide in above us here. And unfortunately, that's going to drive up some of this wind again, so give us a little bit of an eddy condition here Friday, and then you can see how this wind is going to start picking up here as we head into the weekend. So it's not a crazy wind, it's just that steady 15 knots with a couple bonus on top here and there. It's going to really drive that west wind swell. Won't keep the sport boats off the water, but might make it uncomfortable if you're on a smaller one. And if you're in a private boat, probably not the friendliest week to go boating. What we got here really is just that west wind swell, 3 feet to 5 seconds, closer to home. I'm sorry, that was closer to home. Yeah, 3 feet at 5 seconds. Saturday, 4 feet at 7 seconds. So kind of mixed up here, depending on the angle. And then between San Clemente and Catalina Island, 5 to 6 feet, west 3 to 4 seconds, northwest is 4 feet at 7 seconds, and south at 15. So still it's that northwest west junk that's going to make traveling slow speeds and not very comfortable. Probably a little wet as well. So probably doable for some people, but more than likely a stay-at-home day for a lot of folks. But you really have to pay attention to where you are. For example, Saturday's worst wind is really going to come. The swell's going to come right through here. Actually, I think we got a wave model here on windy. It's not the best, but you kind of get the idea here. So I mean, they're calling for 7 feet at 8 seconds, but you stick out outside of this little swell window, close to home, 5 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet. You get the idea. If you stay out of the wind window, you got a better chance at going out, or maybe just make a little half day of it and see what happens. The good news is that we got some charts finally. This is our current 3-day temperature chart. The blue section here, 64 degrees. The dark red, 74. And this has been pretty consistent even on the 1 day here. Looking pretty darn accurate at the moment. So we'll take a look here at the chlorophyll chart. There's the 8-day. This is the most complete. You see we got some of this green turned over water here. That's from that wind blowing. And I wanted you to pay a little attention to it here as we move to the 3-day. It's starting to push more in this direction. Unfortunately, today didn't give us a much better look, but I would anticipate that green water is sliding this way. And that's important, and we'll touch on that when we talk about some of this fishing. Channel Island, still a good little run of sea bass up here. Unfortunately, that wind is blowing. Not sure how many of you guys are making it that far or heading west. And that kind of has been the same reason why people have not been venturing out to San Nick as well. Little run of yellowtail at Santa Barbara Island in the kelp. Good sized ones as well. So that's encouraging to hear, considering it's been pretty quiet from that area over the last week or so. Catalina also seeing a good run of yellowtail around the island. They're always spooky at the island, just the number of boats. And a lot of guys run them over. They're hard to stay on top of, but hopefully if you can stay away from the boats, find your own little school of fish. you got a chance at making that work. But both seen on the front side and the back side. Been some squid still at Ben Weston. I don't know if anybody's selling squid this weekend. You could probably make your own out there as well, but you should be just fine on the fin bait. It seems to be working just fine. Pushing down to San Clemente Island. Still really good fishing from the island the last 2 weeks. I expect it to continue. We're coming off the full moon, which kind of makes this stuff bite a little bit better. There's been a good run of sea bass still up here at the dunes by the runway and the kelp lines in this area. Mixed fishing from sea bass to yellowtail. Not so much squid down here in Pyramid. This has been strictly yellowtail fishing for the most part. And same with along the front side. Been mainly yellowtail fishing. So if you're trying to focus on the sea bass, you still got a chance up here, depending on what goes on here. But it's that 3 days after the full moon, and full moon was there. So today, tomorrow, Friday, you got a good chance at catching sea bass. Maybe a stronger chance of catching sea bass. You can catch them all the time, but that's the old saying. But getting back to our chart, we've had excellent fishing at the Coronados. The last few days been pretty much wide open, all you want. 20-pound average grade fish coming on jigs, coming on bait. There's gonna be some boat traffic, so be advised. But yeah, we're starting to see really good signs of the yells this year. It seemed like last year there just was not a lot of volume, and so far it seems like a pretty good start to summertime. We have seen some of this fish slide up here also to La Jolla as well, so good signs that this stuff is moving along the coast. That's what we're looking for. Some of the guys that have been down here fishing also have been running to some schoolie size bluefin. It's that 25, 30-pound stuff. So don't be surprised if you're fishing islands and some of that stuff pops off, or even on the west side here. You never know. As far as what's been happening in this area, really it's kind of just mixed small schools of fish, more particularly bluefin. But you can tell, that's like 7-degree water, so you might get some yellowfin that come in here too, but you're kind of on the edge of yellowfin, bluefin territory. Usually 70 is when you start seeing yellowfin. 72 is kind of when you stop seeing bluefin. So it kind of depends on what your water temp is, and obviously if you're heading west here, things really start to cool off that green stuff. 68, that's going to change things up, but you're not going to see much of that yellowfin this way. Closer to home, the last 4 days, seen a lot of yellowfin, basically going from Dana, even south of Dana, out here at the 267. But there's been yellowfin from Dana Point to Newport, 3 to 4, miles on the coast. Pop up little foamers. A lot of people chasing them, not a lot of people catching them. And just the way that stuff is, it gets cued in on that small stuff. When you get that really finicky fish, if you can't get them on jigs or anything like that, try and set up a little float on top of or in front of them, and start chunking, and then start putting chunks of bait on your hooks. Sometimes you can get them off that stuff and into your chunk line, and they'll bite the chunk. You don't necessarily have to have a live bait for that, but a good fresh dead bait will work just fine for you. So hang on to your dead ones. Might be an effective method to get some of that finicky stuff to get going and come to your boat as well. Also in the area, a random dodos spotted on a patty. They couldn't get it to go up here, but this is the 72, 74 degree water. This is going to be that warm water fish. So yellowfin, dorado, chance of the striped marlin popping up in here, especially front side of Catalina, the slide, Avalon Bank. Those are all good areas that you're going to see that stuff rip up. So if you want to stay close to home and try and target something that's not a bluefin, this is a good area that I'd be focusing on. And then you have to worry about some of that slop that's out there too. So, and if for some reason that one cranks up and gets nasty, well, short ride home. You don't have to worry too much about it. But yeah, moving further south, we still got some kelp patty stuff going on. Just doesn't seem like a whole bunch of volume yet. But I'd be looking at this wind line right here. Really, that's really where this stuff piles up. When you get, warm water moving up, cold water moving down, this water in the middle kind of stays stagnant and allows kelp patties to line up. So if you're looking for a kelp patty, I'd probably start looking in here. In this area, might have a better chance. As far as the bluefin that's been popping up, let's go back to the chlorophyll chart I was talking about. Last week we said that these things were going way west out here. This is let's look at the 8-day chlorophyll chart. We had them basically under Nick, right? The 7-11 under Nick, and it seemed like they're on the edge of this dirty water. And then the wind picked up the last couple of days out there, and that dirty water's been flowing more eastward. And guess what? The fish have moved with it. Today, we had them yesterday they were as high as the Osborne. Today they moved south here between the 711 and 499, and then have been starting to accumulate on the backside of the island as well. And I was talking about this escarpment being a pretty tight section for fish, but basically from this steep section of underwater topography and along the side here to the 499 out to the Osborne, this whole area usually holds fish, and it's not always on one side, it can be on both sides, but it tends to hold fish pretty well when we get later in the season here. So now that dirty water's been moving this way, the fish have been moving back. There's a good chance you're going to see them probably in the same area over the next several days. And if that dirty water keeps pushing, maybe they come back to this basin. We'll see what happens here. But for the private boat guys, with the wind up, a lot harder to see. Obviously, focus on using birds. But the sport boats are going to be all about the sonar. So as soon as they find them with the sonar, they got a better chance to find them than you do. But so use the tools that best equipped to work for you. Trying to spot, bluefin and little tiny breezers and 4 foot, 5 second wind chop. Probably not going to be very easy compared to staying close to home, looking at kelp patties and birds and less wind for sure. But also got to deal with the fog here in the morning too. So you got to do the best with the conditions you got. So choose your tools and your methods effectively as they work best for you. So that's it for this week, guys. Be safe out there on the water, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingprojects.com. And make sure you share the stoke.